Well, as I mentioned earlier, I think if you look at the data that's been coming in since earlier this year, you have seen stronger labor market conditions, higher inflation, stronger consumer spending, and also we saw some of the low inflation readings from the fourth quarter of last year revised away. If you take all of those, they may be to some extent related to things like seasonal adjustments or a warm January, but nonetheless they all point in the same direction, and they do suggest that the possibility that we ultimately would need to raise rates higher than had been expected.
There's the part that crypto bros and investors want to know, is that the rates might have to increase more than expected. And that was in response to Kirsten Sinema. She was the only person who was slacking off, had to call in on Zoom. She's the fake Democrat. She's probably drinking $1 million wine bottle. Watch to the end. There's more interesting stuff you see. But basically it means that the pain's not over on stock market. And it's probably not over in crypto either. And especially with some Republicans are almost attacking him in this meeting. And with these businesses trying to destroy our government, finish stealing our sovereignty, now's the time to go wild with those interest rates. It's time for the government to flex some power.
The path we're on is not sustainable, but the level of debt that we have is not unsustainable. Is sustainable, put it that way. So we don't think about interest costs when we make monetary policy. We think about maximum employment and price stability.
It's your opinion that the level of debt we have is sustainable?
Yes, I mean we have the largest economy in the world. We can service this debt. That's not the problem. The problem is that we're on a path where the debt is growing substantially faster than the economy, and that's kind of by definition in the long run unsustainable.
That was another big point in this hearing, is that Jerome Powell does see what we have right now as being serviceable, but we can't continue to create more and more debt infinity into the future. And Joe Biden has actually reversed course to where our debt is actually going down by, I think it's 1.6 trillion.
We are the world's reserve currency, of course, and that's because of our democratic institutions. It's because of our control over inflation over many, many, many years. The world trusts the rule of law in the United States, and those are the things. So once you're the world's reserve currency, it's used in all over the world in transactions, and it's the place where people want to be in times of stress. It's in dollar-denominated assets.
That was in response to Russian asset MAGA Republican from Ohio, J.D. Vance. Wasn't that a surprising answer? Even I was surprised to learn that part of the reason we are a reserve currency is the democratic institutions that MAGA Republicans are attacking. And the law and order in this country, when MAGA Republicans just had CPAC, where they want to defund the FBI, ATF, and even the DOJ. It's one of the many ways that these MAGA Republicans are such a threat to our country and such terrorists.